Welcome to the second part of Pharmaceutical Calculations, and in this short lecture I'll be discussing on the calculation involving percentage. Percentage calculations can be divided into a few categories depending on the phase of the material. So let's take the first example, solutions of solid state in liquid state. So the expressions of percentage can be in two forms. It's either weight in volume or weight in weight. So in this case, it means that the weight of the solid can be expressed in volume of the liquid or the weight of the liquid. So whatever it is given, remember these golden rules. So it's either solid or liquid. This percentage means that one part of the solid or liquid is needed to produce 100 parts by weight or volume of the solid or liquid given. So it may sound a bit confusing here, but let's take a look at the example that we're going to talk in the next few slides. First, let's look at the expressions of percentage weight in volumes. So remember the golden rules saying that we have one part in 100 parts. So in this case, it means that 1 gram of the solute is found in 100 ml of the final mixture or solutions. Let's look at this example. 0.9% weight per volume of potassium chloride solutions, and you're going to make 50 ml. So in this case, it means that potassium chloride is 0.9 gram in 100 ml of water given. So for you to prepare 50 ml, so we apply the formulation calculation method. So it's just half of the amount given. So to prepare 50 ml, you will need 0.45 gram of potassium chloride. Let's move on to discussions on the second expression of percentage, which is percentage weight in weight. 1% weight in weight means that you have 1 gram of solute solubilized in 100 gram of final solutions. Let's take phenol glycerol as the example today. So if you have to prepare 100 ml of this phenol glycerol, you are given this formula where 840 gram glycerol and 160 gram of phenol is required to prepare 1000 gram of phenol glycerol PPC. However, you are required to prepare 100 ml. So by looking at this, you have to convert the current ingredients into volume. But first, we must identify what is the phase of the material. So glycerol is a liquid and phenol is a solid. So we can convert the amount of glycerol in gram into volume by just dividing with a factor, and this factor is referring to density. So I'm sure that you have no problem by just dividing the 840 with 1.26 and you shall get 667 ml. So from this relationship, we can get an idea that in 1000 gram of these formulations has 670 ml roughly. So you are going to prepare 100 ml of it. So how much of the ingredients you need? So we can get an idea that if the amount of glycerol is 100 ml, together with the ingredients of phenol, we will end up more than 100 ml. So with that, we take glycerol as our reference. So if we know that we need to have 100 ml of glycerol, so we can convert back to the amount in gram by just multiply with the density. You will get 126 gram of glycerol. So by taking the ratio of 840 to 160, you should now able to calculate how much is needed for phenol, and end up you will have 150 grams of the formulations. So just to quickly check out with if the density of phenol is known, you can check whether with 100 ml of glycerol, are you able to dispense enough formulations to the patients? So you convert 24 gram into volume by just dividing with density, and you should get about 22 ml, and added up together with the glycerol, you should get more than 100 ml. In this case, you have 120 ml, which is more than enough for you to dispense adequate formulations to your patient. We have another example here where you have to prepare a simple ointment BP and 120 grams of it. So given this formula where you have 85% weight in weight for white salt paraffin, and the rest ingredients, each of them is 5% weight in weight. So this is more straightforward. So you just need to take the total of the percentage and just times with the amount needed. So with that, you have 102 grams for white salt paraffins, and for the rest, I'm sure that you have no problem by using the same equations, you're able to calculate the amount needed. We have now come to the third expressions of percentage, which is the percentage volume in volume. 1% volume in volume means that 1 ml of liquid solute is found in 100 ml of the solutions. So in the following example, you are required to prepare 400 ml of these lotions containing 8% volume in volume of aluminum acetate solutions in distilled water. So in this case, 8% volume in volume means that you have 8 ml of these solutions to be diluted or to be topped up to the final volume of 100 ml with distilled water. So to prepare 400 ml, again we apply the formulations calculations. You just need to prepare 4 times of the current volume. We have now another example where we have to dilute of 95% volume in volume alcohol to a final volume of 450 ml with a concentration of 65% volume in volume. So let's put it in the table form. You're given 95% volume in volume, and the final volume here is 100 ml. So how much are you needed to prepare 450 ml with a concentration of 65%? We can now apply this formula or equations C1V1 equal to C2V2, where C refers to the concentrations and V refers to the volume. So simply substitute the equation with the numbers given here. So let's take the first solution is the final solutions. You will have 450 ml to be prepared with 65%, and the second solution is the stock solutions where we have 95% of the alcohol, and we need to extract how much of it in order to achieve the final volume of the diluted alcohol. So, and you will need 310 ml of 95% alcohol to be diluted up to 450 ml with distilled water to prepare 65% weight volume in volume alcohol. We have now come to the last expressions of percentage, the percentage volume in weight. So 1% volume in weight means that 1 ml of liquid solute in 100 grams of final solid. We have here an example of iodine ointment with methyl salicylate, and you have to prepare 50 grams of it. So given that the amounts of methyl salicylate needed for 1000 grams of the ointment is 50 ml, So to prepare 50 gram is just taking the ratio. So you will need 2.5 ml of methyl salicylate. We have finished discuss on the different types of expressions of percentage in pharmaceutical calculations. Given that if you have an example like this, where you have a mixture of solid and liquid, and everything is expressed in percentage. So to identify that which of the percentage is referring to, so remember these golden rules. If solutions of solid in liquid is usually made in the expressions of percentage weight in volume. However, for liquid, it always refers to percentage volume in volume. So remember this golden rule. Unless otherwise stated, or else if nothing comes after percentage, we always follow these golden rules. So in this case, we have to identify the form or the phase of the materials. So the first two ingredients are solid and the rest are liquid. So in this case, we can put in the expression of the percentage. And now I'm sure that you won't have any problem by calculating. So you just have to use the rules of 1 part in 100 parts of each of the percentage expressions to calculate the amount needed. By now, we have done with the discussions on the percentage calculations for pharmaceutical calculations, and I hope you are clear with the different types of expressions of percentage unit. Thank you.